In this video tutorial, we'll work closely with Extrude tool to show you how to use it. You can also find it in the modeling toolkit, a single place for all of your modeling tools. It's actually very handy because you don't need to jump from window to window in search of a tool you wish to use at a particular time. Both windows are similar, and you can find all the functions in here. So I'll close this and I'll use this one instead. And let's start by creating a new solid. You can do that by pressing Create Empty Plane button. In case you haven't noticed, it's become 3D right away, and also now you don't need to toggle this eyeball switch anymore. Now, let's just draw any mask. I'll just switch to two views for more clarity, one from active camera and one from the top, and create surface. As you can see, now we've got extruded surface with mask parameters. For example, now you can change the depth of extrusion by simply changing the depth size value. You can also change the direction of extrusion by setting a negative number. Mark front face and back face to close the front and back holes. Sometimes when you do extrusion, gaps can appear between polygon edges. If this happens, you can fix it by increasing mask offset. The polygons has increased, so now there is no question of gaps in between. Surely, I may have entered too large of a value. Shouldn't have increased it that much, I guess. But anyway. Now let's draw a round mask. This isn't a linear mask, and it consists of 4 Bezier vertices. And if I create surface now, you will see that it's not actually a round surface. That's because it's a Bezier curve, and a polygonal surface can only be created by linear curves. To make it linear, click Make a Linear Path button. This is why we should add more vertices so the mask remains round, but still has a linear path. And now that we've got ourselves a round mask with a linear path, we can go even further and add more vertices to achieve almost perfect roundness. It looks much better now, and it's almost impossible to tell that the circle actually consists of straight lines in between the vertices. And if I create surface now, we will get ourselves a nice round surface. Alright, now we can take a look at Keep Alt Vertices. So let's say we want to get ourselves a pentagon. I'll set the number of vertices to 5, and I'll also make a linear path. There we go. But if you mark Keep All Vertices and make a linear path here, the old vertices will remain. The plugin will leave them, adding new ones according to the amount you set. Now, if you don't agree, the plugin will only add new ones according to the specified amount. Okay, let's move on. What's also interesting is that you can extrude 2 masks at a time. If you put the mask inside another mask, change the mask mode to Subtract and click Create Surface, you'll get yourself a surface with a cutout inside. You can also cut multiple holes at the same time. Now I'll create one rectangular mask and also several small masks inside of it. Then I'm going to select all the small masks and change their mode to Subtract. I'll toggle Eye Switch to show where we headed, and then select all masks and create a surface. See? This way we get a rectangle surface with multiple holes in it. Let's move on to the next one.
The skew value allows you to tilt the extruding direction. To tilt up or down, add value right here. See?
If you want to tilt it left or right, you can add value here.
Okay, great. Now you're familiar with Extrude tool parameters. Now let's practice a little bit.
Now let's try to project this train carriage interior. Ctrl-Alt-F to fit our image to comp size. So now we should match our camera to this image in order to properly place our model as if it were part of it. And that means that I should first of all do camera matching. And there are two ways to do that. You can do it by matching it directly, or you can do it with F-Spy. I'll show you both ways now, and we'll start with the usual one. So I'll hold Alt, and with the scroll wheel, I will drag the camera to the right. And while still holding Alt, I can spin it with the left button. So using Camera Tool, we can match grid lines with the lines on the image. As you can see, all the lines on the left side match perfectly. But if we look over to the right, then it's evident that everything is not okay, because the lines kind of deviate to the side a little bit. To fix this, I will simply double click the camera, and I'm going to reduce its focal length to 26. Then I'm going to adjust it again, only slightly. And now all the lines match quite well. Great. It is now time to create our projection. I'll select both camera and image. I'll name it and set one copy. We only need one copy here since there isn't any overlapping. Cool. All there's left to do now is to create a model, but we'll do that after we repeat the process, this time using F-Spy. So let's open our train image from the file menu again.
I'll uncheck this to see better. Now match x-axis lines horizontally from left to right.
I'll hold Shift to zoom in to see it better.
And then match y-axis lines. Enable the XY grid floor. As we already know, unlike in After Effects, y-axis in FSPY directed inward. So to fix this, change x to -x. Looks like all lines fit. This means that we did it right. So let's export our camera as JSON file. Good. Go back to After Effects.
And let's work inside a project where we matched our camera manually. Double click projection scene. There it is with the camera already in place. So we can start modeling right away. First of all, I'm going to create a surface of the back part there and then extrude. I'll uncheck both left and bottom parts of the grid. I'll create a surface using those properties. Awesome. Adjust it a little so that it covers the entire back.
All right. Now we must draw a mask along the contours of the further wall.
Great. Now we have the back wall surface. So let's select the mask and extrude. It's not enough depth. So let's get back and set it to 5000 and create that surface again. And it still doesn't make it cover the entire thing. That's okay though.
Hit S to open scale, disable scaling on all axes, and increase the scale along Z. Cool, let's have a look. Yes, it's fine. To see the wall in the back, enable this layer. Great, we're done modeling.
Alright, looks like our projection is ready. It's 3D and it looks great. And that's awesome. Alright, let's do the same modeling thing, only this time with the camera that we've matched in FSpy.
Click File, Import Camera FSPY.
We'll select camera we've created in FSpy earlier. Now let's just move it a little bit. Like I said, holding Alt and dragging it with the scroll wheel. And mind you that I'm doing this only to create solid using helper grid properties. This won't spoil our camera created in FSpy. Simply remember to use the scroll wheel instead of the left button.
Great. So now let's create our projection. One copy will be enough. Projection is ready. Now let's create the surface on which we will project our image.
Now let's create the back wall using helper grid parameters.
Alright, now we must draw a mask along the contours of the further wall.
Great. Now we have the back wall surface. So let's select the mask and extrude.
Create surface. Need to stretch it along Z. Cool, let's have a look. To see the wall in the back, enable this layer. Great, we're done modeling. Now let's animate our camera. Set key on position and on the point of interest.
I'll scroll to the 3rd second to create some movement using camera. And then holding Alt and dragging it with the right button. And spin it a little bit with the left click.
Great, it's done. Now let's pre-render and see what happens.
Alright, looks like our projection is ready. It's 3D and it looks great. And that's awesome.
Okay, that's it.
Looks like now you know how you can work with Extrude.